Let me read to you a passage from the 17th chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, verses 7 to 10. It's the Gospel for Tuesday of the 32nd week of Ordinary Time. St. Luke writes, Jesus said to the apostles, "Who among you would say to your servant, who has just come in from ploughing or tending sheep in the field, 'Come here immediately and take your place at table'? Would he not rather say to him, 'Prepare something for me to eat, put on your apron, and wait on me while I eat and drink? You may eat and drink when I am finished'? Is he grateful to that servant because he did what was commanded? So should it be with you. When you have done all you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do.'" That's from Luke chapter 17, verse 7 to 10. What does this suggest to us? Well, there are various keys or starting points to the understanding of man and of oneself and of a truly human life. One can start with the sheer fact of one's existence and develop one's thought from there. Why isn't there simply nothing? Or rather, why is it that I now exist and live? And what are the implications of this for me? I exist and I continue to exist when there is no intrinsic need for me to do so. I'm obviously radically transient in my very being, and there is no reason why at any particular instant I need continue to enjoy being at all. The same can be said of the world as a whole. Why is there not nothing? Yes, one thing in the universe motors the other, but not in the sense of providing its continued existence. It points to a sustainer who is beyond all, but ever so near to all. Another starting point might be the fact of order. Things are not radically chaotic and at the whim of chance. There is not just a vast sea of flux that is somehow just there. Rather, order and rationality pervade even to the minutest elements, even though there is enough disorder and consequent suffering to pose the problem of what must have happened to spoil an otherwise exceedingly grand and beautiful world. Another key or starting point I would suggest is the fact of duty. We sense that there is continually before us a great phenomenon of moral obligation that just will never go away. It summons us to respond in a spirit of loving obedience. And if we do not fulfill our duty, our conscience will continually reprove us and never leave us in peace. The whole of mankind is profoundly aware of duty, and the practical system of duties is passed on from one generation to the next as its most important heritage. If a society or family or group fails to insist on the fulfillment of duty, then it stands self-condemned. A nation's life pivots around duty, and whether one believes in God or not, all will accept the great reality of duty, even if it is everywhere contested what those duties are. Not only is the centrality of duty accessible to any man or woman, but its importance is a feature of most religions. In the case of revealed religion, the place of duty is central. So important is duty in a religious life that Cardinal Newman once wrote that authority and obedience to God is of the very essence of religion. There are some who would respond to such a statement by saying that revealed religion is all about love, not authority and obedience. But we are speaking here of the recognition of the authority of God and of obedience to his commands. That is to say, true religion involves the fulfillment of our duties to God, but in a spirit of love, as would a child obey his father. Our Lord once said that, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." This is to say that the test of love is the fulfillment of our duty. Our Lord was once asked what is the greatest commandment of the law, and he replied that it is to love God with all our strength and our neighbour as ourselves. But this is to be manifested and nourished by obedience to the commands of God. For this reason he gave us the 10 Commandments, and Christ gave us the Beatitudes. Our Lord came with the mission to do the will of the one who sent him, and he fulfilled this duty. In our Gospel that I read earlier, our Lord refers to duty. The entire passage is worth repeating. Who among you would say to your servant who has just come in from ploughing or tending sheep in the field, "Come here immediately and take your place at table"? Would he not rather say to him, "Prepare something for me to eat, put on your apron and wait on me while I eat and drink? You may eat and drink when I am finished"? Is he grateful to that servant because he did what was commanded? So it should be with you. When you have done all that you have been commanded, say, "We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do." Luke chapter 17. The Church teaches that the perfection of man consists in the perfect and heroic fulfillment of his duties of state out of love for God. Man has been given his life to fulfill with love the duties given to him by God his Father. Christ came to break the power of sin in us, and by the gift of his grace, to make a life of obedience to our God-given duty possible. Let us, following daily in the footsteps of Christ, place the recognition and fulfillment of our duty at the center of all our days.